I had to be that guy watching the movie with my girlfriend. I was like, hey babe, that's Osgood Perkins right there. And she's like, okay.
Drive-by movies, you're watching
Fresh releases.
My name is Blaise.
And I'm James.
And this week we're talking Stephen King and Osgood Perkins, The Monkey.
The Monkey is Neon's latest horror film, and it's about two twin brothers, Bill and Hal, who find their father's old monkey toy in the attic, and a series of gruesome deaths start. The siblings decide to throw away the toy forever and move on with their lives, growing apart over the years. So, I kind of went into this movie as blind as possible. The only trailer I ever saw for this movie was the one before Longlegs. And it's just crazy that Osgood Perkins has 2 movies coming out this year and 3 movies within like a 1.5 year span. So this guy's been working hard with Neon, I guess. But, 2 very tonally different movies from Osgood Perkins. I never would have expected Neon to kind of make a movie that feels a little bit more mainstream, but still has the Neon isms. And, glad to see that this movie was still successful for Neon, even though it didn't really have mainstream success, because I enjoyed the hell out of it. What are your thoughts coming out of it?
Yeah, this movie was an absolute hoot. I just watched Hard Eyes, I think, the week before, and that was, fun in its own way. And then this was fun in both were definitely like genre mashups, and this was just that ultimate dark comedy. It was so funny at times. I thought there was great editing throughout the movie, and I wouldn't say I was caught off guard. I didn't love Longlegs, but I know something like this going kind of maybe less serious and having a lot of fun with it, you could definitely see Osgood Perkins actually shine. I don't think he's made a movie like this before. I think we've seen most all of his movies. I think the only one I haven't seen is Black Coat's Daughter, but I've heard great things, so that's on the list, of course. But yeah, most of his movies have been, I wouldn't say along the lines of Longlegs, but definitely more in a dramatic tone, where this was just seemed like him unbuttoning the top of his shirt and just having a ton of fun, and we get a great director cameo from him in this.
Yeah, that caught me off guard. I had to be that guy watching the movie with my girlfriend. I was like, hey babe, that's Osgood Perkins right there. And she's like, okay, I don't care. I had to do the whole Aragorn broke his toe when he kicked the helmet scene in the Two Towers, me being a dorky film lover. But I guess just this movie works on the aspect of just how comedic it was, because I didn't get that vibe from the trailer. I could tell it was going to be a sick, twisted, sadistic kind of comedic moments, but this movie actually is just really funny with how over the top the kills are. It was like watching I don't know, I guess a more artistic version of Final Destination. It gets it right of just getting the most ridiculous, crazy kills of just not knowing what to expect, but having it be so ridiculous that you just can't help but laugh. And it just works really well. Narrative wise, also, it is a fun enough story, being adapted from the short story. I don't know what goes down in the short story, but stretching it out into a 95-minute movie still works out very well. I'd say the second half of the movie does kind of lose its steam. The first half is just absolutely incredible. I could watch the first hour of this movie nonstop, and not that the last 30 minutes is bad. I just thought bringing back the brother kind of halfway into the movie after them being estranged just didn't work as well, just because he had less development time. And all we know about him is just, I don't like him when he was a kid. I'm probably not going to like him as an adult. So I wasn't as empathetic towards his character, but you're not meant to love him essentially anyways. That's just my only complaint within the movie, just because overall it's still a fun time, and actually it's a movie that I want to rewatch again and see the reactions of other people.
Yeah, I will say a lot of that, the problem is that it's kind of like that pulpy kind of EC Comics style, almost, the story, but in the beginning it never feels like that. I think in the book they kind of go into it a little bit more and you kind of get that vibe better, but in the movie you're just only with the brother for a little bit, and they kind of show that he turns into a bully, but like they have to kind of say it through voiceover more so than like spend a huge point of the runtime like kind of showing it. And then when you see him at the end and he's almost like this comic book style villain in his fortress, like it is very over the top, but like it does still feel out of left field though. Like it still feels like it might not tonally match, but then you throw in some weird like wasp kills that are just super over the top and crazy that you're like, okay, like this is such a fantasy world that Stephen King's built and Osgood Perkins is here to play in it.
Yeah. Speaking of the wasps, actually, that reminds me of the character played by Rohan Campbell. The character's name was Ricky. I just felt like his character was intended to have a bigger role within the movie, just because I'm just like, who is he? Why is he so obsessed with this monkey? I know they convey that it reminds him of his dad, but I was just like, is this like a Halloween Ends situation where just like something feels off? Because Halloween Ends, he was the main character, and just we were talking about how that movie, the ending just felt like, what? He's the main character and you just like kind of kill him off ridiculously out of nowhere, and the final climactic scene doesn't involve him at all. I didn't expect him for the climactic scene at the end, really. But just like, I was just like, they're focusing a lot of time on him just for him to just get killed in a comedic way. So I just expected like kind of more with that. I'm not sure if they were just using him to kind of extend the runtime, but I'm just like, at that point, why not just cut his character, just make the movie 88 minutes instead of 95 minutes? Because that's all the screen time he has, no more than like 5 to 6 minutes or so.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt like there was more it felt like there was more there probably in the short story, and that's a short story, so that's even like kind of confusing in a way. But yeah, I definitely just enjoyed kind of this weird, dark, comedic world that we're kind of experiencing. But I think some of those weird, like comic booky aspects were kind of lost still in translation, because I thought Theo James did a great job. I loved his narration is like A tier, maybe even possibly S tier. He has a great voice for narration, and his VO work was awesome in this movie. Seeing his interpretation of Bill versus, his interpretation of Hal, it felt like a different beast once we're kind of in the final moments of the film. And I'm like, he was funny, but I'm like, does this still match? Like, I felt like maybe we were kind of missing some other scenes that kind of brought everything and tied everything with a nice bow.
Yeah, which is weird because, it's Neon, who are very filmmaker driven, and after the success of Long Legs and working with the director of Osgood Perkins, I assume Neon would be like, release whatever you want, like, just put out whatever you want, like, we'll be able to sell it and work well with it. And they were able to sell it, but just like, I'm not sure if there's a director's cut with all these scenes cut out or not. But either way, though, I do appreciate, like you mentioned, that pulp aspect within it, because everyone within this movie is a character, whether it's the dad in his ridiculous like pilot outfit in the beginning of the movie, which caught me off guard. I had no idea Adam Scott was going to be in this, but what a way to start the movie. I was just dying laughing. I was at Tarantino's Vista Theater. It was empty, probably only like 10 to 15 people total in the theater, but just hearing like 2 or 3 sick mother effers like us just laugh amongst the most gory, ridiculous kill scene. It's just funny being in an empty hall and just hearing like, like, what a good time.
Yeah, I have to say, one of the things that really elevated this movie and kind of brings you into the world the most is the production design. And I will say that I think Osgood Perkins, his production designer, Danny Vermette, like, I think that they do such a great job in all their movies, even Longlegs. But with this, it felt like every single thing that was in the frame was something you could look at and just brought you into that world, that pulpy comic book, EC Comics almost like style world where it just brings you there, and you're looking in the background of every scene. Even in the pawn shop in the beginning, there's all those weapons on the wall, and there's that underwater like diver that looks exactly like the Atomic Monster film company logo, right, that you see right before the film starts. I'm like, they just did such a great job with the production design in this movie, and I think that really builds this awesome world that you're kind of introduced in The Monkey. And it's nothing like we've seen Osgood Perkins do before, so it's just like that production design was just top notch. That was something that I absolutely loved. Coming out of the movie, I'm like, dude, great production design. He's done great on all the other past movies, but being that this was something that I felt like was really elevated from the previous movies, and it probably has to do a lot with the comedy, is it really tied everything together and made it just a ton of fun.
Yeah, because give this movie to any other director, it could have gone in a completely different direction, whether it was the comedic tones just feeling off, but the look is definitely what stands out with this movie and I think makes it most memorable. So yeah, I think only person who could have made this movie work this way is just Osgood Perkins, because give it to any other director, we have a completely different movie, honestly. But yeah, I'm glad with the one that we got. This movie still isn't for everyone. I see that a lot of people are giving it either 4 stars or 1 star. There's like no in between. It's still an in between movie for me, but definitely more on the positive aspects. But just like, yeah, I think just like, I hate saying it, but like, you know, different flavors for different horror fans. But this one, like, you know, if you're a true horror fan, like, what are you really hating about this movie? I mean, I guess just let us know in the comments below what did you despise about this movie. But if you loved it, also great way to help support us. Just let us know what you thought about the movie.
And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and click that notification bell to get all of our latest updates.
And speaking of updates, catch all our social media links down below. We got Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and also our own personal letterbox accounts. That's it for this week. Tune in next week for a brand new video.